Topical and atypical. Unfiltered and independent. 100% authentic and intelligent.
Here we go. How y'all doing? The mic is on. The mic is on. So I just learned. I gotta actually turn the mic on the mic. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? It's Wednesday. It's a whole new day of life. So let's applaud that. Let's applaud that. What seems to happen every morning, so this is what happens when you're like just starting out something, is that you literally at the last minute are like, oh, you know what, I need to do that. And then like with 10 minutes before the show to start, you decide that that's what you're going to try and do. And so that is what I tried to do today. And that's why I'm running a little late, but it's all gravy, baby. Where are you guys from? Let me know. Where is everybody from? Where is everybody from? We do this every morning where we talk about where everybody's from. And I really am excited to share our guests today. We have Roy Wood Jr. joining, as well as Laura Chung. And these are two individuals who are just really dope. I mean, I think it's really great to have a show where I can just have on like people I like. And not that I wasn't doing that before, but I can like really, truly just have on people I like. And so we got those folks joining us today. They're going to come on, and it's going to be interesting to hear Laura Chung's assessment of what the astrology of the United States is, because she did a reading for me and it was the most accurate reading I have ever had. Okay. So that lets me know, like, okay, she about it. She about it. It was the most accurate reading that I've ever had. So, shouts out for that. And I think it's not always the case that happens, right? Like people sometimes are just not that great at the readings and whatnot, but Laura is, and so I'm excited to have her joining us. Of course, we have Roy Wood Jr. Roy Wood Jr. is going to be joining us for 60-second headlines, and he has a new special that is coming out, so look out for that. I have this printer. It's an HP printer, and it is the most unreliable printer, y'all, in the history of printers. I've had boyfriends that were more reliable than this printer, and I've had really unreliable boyfriends. Like this printer is just, it don't got no respect for anybody, and it really just does what it wants to do, and it does not follow instructions. It does not follow instructions. So I'm really just waiting for the ink to run out so I can absolutely just throw it into the sea. And my problem too is that I got it because it was aesthetically cute. It was like, it was white. It didn't feel like it was just this large thing taking up the room. No, terrible error on my part. And I hate it. Get you a Harriet Tubman pen. at the AmandaLand export shop. This is one of those mornings where like nothing, those mornings where like nothing is right. Like you get up and you're like, yeah, like I'm just gonna have a great day. And the day is like, we gonna make it a little difficult for you. Not like terrible, crazy difficult, but just like annoying difficult. You know what I mean? Like I just couldn't. I was trying to get Jordy so I could take him to daycare because I have to record 2 episodes of Small Doses after this. So like I have a full day. Yes, Corey, my Mercury is in retrograde. My Mercury is in microwave because I'm really over here like, why is everything just not lining up? Like I can't print out the goddamn show. So then I can't go on Instagram live. So I have to use my phone, and you know what I mean? It's just like, it's annoying. So anywho, there we have it. That's what my day is looking like for me. Like I asked y'all where y'all from, and I didn't even get to that because I was so distracted. Also, like the heat is on, and I'm so hot. I'm so hot right now in this seat. Like I'm here burning up. I am here burning up. I'm here burning up. So let's do this again. Where are y'all at? Somebody said Mercury and Gatorade. Yes, Wendigard. That is hilarious. Okay, so let's do this again. Where y'all at? Where y'all coming from? Where are y'all watching from? I really love getting to see who's joining us. Okay, so we've got Houston, Texas. We've got Deborah from Portsmouth, Virginia. We got Richmond, Virginia. We got Jersey in the 908. We got Dallas, Texas. We got Bristol in the UK, and we've also got we had Bristol in the UK. Oh, and then it's Worcester, Massachusetts. Okay, because I really thought Worcester was the UK. We got Duval. We got Windsor, Canada. Riksha is freezing. Listen, y'all, when I tell you it's cold in New York, it's cold, like real cold, like offensive cold. Okay. We got Memphis. We got Memphis, Maine. Actually, today I listened to some 8 Ball and MJG this morning. That's how I started my day. 8 Ball, look, come out hard. We're the gangster. Yeah. Tontizi is at home at your desk in Cali. We're in Cali because the fires is raging. So sending love to everybody out there who may have folks that are affected by the fires. My house didn't sell yet. So I'm like, is anyone gonna buy my house now they got all these fires? Lord. Yes, Christina. Meanwhile, Los Angeles is burning to the ground. Okay. It's freezing in Florida. It's freezing in Florida. Also freezing in North Texas. Tontizi, you in the Inland Empire. That's some California stuff right there. Yes, it is Brook. It is brick. It's brick in NY. I had to pump gas this morning, and my hand was like, what are you trying to do? Because, like, the little thing that you can, like, lock it in so that it just stays on so that you can get back in the car. It didn't want to work. But, I just thug it out. I thugged it out. Sometimes I'll just thug it out just to let myself know, like, yeah, if you had to, you could. You know what I'm saying? If you had to, you could. Hold on. Richmond, Virginia has not had running water since Monday morning. Why? Oh my gosh. And yes, F Story, we are sending love to the people out in Cali and pray that you stay safe. All right, so we're already at 300 viewers and it's only 10:14. Now, Roy Wood Jr. is supposed to be coming on here in 2.2 seconds. I was going to do the Black Joy story, but we're going to have to do that after because we have to get into our word of the day, y'all. We have to get into our word of the day before Roy gets here. Y'all, the word of the day is darg. Not to be confused with darn. The word is darg. It's a noun, D-A-R-G, and it means a day's work, a defined quantity or amount of work, or of the product of work done in a certain time or at a certain rate of payment, a task. So, like the current plans after seeing Donald Trump's press conference at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, he's going to ruin this country in just one fell darg. Like just one darg, he's going to ruin this country. Yep. So let's see. Okay, I literally say it's 10 a.m. Eastern every day. Every day, Nicole, I say 10 a.m. Eastern every single day. Why can't I sit in my car while I pump gas? I didn't say the car was on. I can absolutely sit in my car while I pump gas. Okay. Miss Latia said, I'm out here making my own bag doing darg. I think the word darg just always sounds wrong because that feels like that's correct usage, but it sounds wrong, right? Let's see somebody else's sentence. I have a hell of a darg coming up for me at the show today, after the show today. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. We're going to get, yes. Good job, Luna Bear. Luna Bear out there in Orlando. Good job. Good job. All right. FG Apothecary Co says, too much darn darg got me illin' every day. Too much darn darg. I don't know. I don't think that works. Too much darn darg. I like the darn darg because I love an alliteration. I love an alliteration. Oh, this is my mug of the day. It's an elephant. It's an elephant. I love an alliteration, but I don't think that's it. Okay, we got one more. Okay, here we go. Rebecca. Rebecca says, I anticipate good grades in grad school because of the darg I exercise every day. Yes. Okay, I'm going to give it. I feel like at this point, I don't even know if I'm an accurate giver because I don't know that I'm really locking it in. Yeah, I don't know that I'm really like saying it properly. Darg. It sounds like it would be a word that you're saying like out of like darg. Like if a Viking was really upset, they would say darg. That's what it seems like. But okay. Anyways. Well, that's our word of the day, y'all. So shout out to everybody who participated in expanding your vocabulary. Part of our darg today is to bring on Roy Wood Jr.
You know what? I was when I started like kind of peeping what you was doing on the YouTube, and I saw all the brightness and the positivity and the pink. I was like, let me go into my sunroom. Let me give it a. I was trying to figure, you be trying to figure out your Zoom background. What background I'm gonna hit him with? Should I hit him with the wood and the books? I'm like, nah, we gonna.
I like this though, but this feels like school.
Oh yeah, well, it's his room. I want him to learn. You need to stare at this map, and then we put pins in this joint when you travel somewhere so you can walk more and do more. But to travel at the top. Where to next? Where you traveling, boy? Get out and see the world. Don't let the days of your life pass by. I play the clean version, though. I don't play the, how Outcast be sometimes, but that's a good song. It's a good positive song.
Yes. Get up, get out, and get something. I was listening to some Outcast this morning. I listened to Hootie Hoo.
Okay. Yeah, we do Outcast some mornings, and then other mornings we do Elton John, and then some mornings it be Diana Ross. We mix it up over here.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
That's what friends are for. Little Stevie Wonder, and then we'll do some Bruce Springsteen. I want the boy to be well-rounded. He in New York. He got white friends. He got to know some Springsteen.
Congrats. There's a special coming.
Yes. Special number 4.
About Roy Wood Jr. He gonna do some specials. Okay.
Well, you know what happened. I quit the Daily Show, and I was like, I got to pay these bills in 24. Let me go on see who want to buy these jokes right quick. So Hulu came through, and January 17th, we're gonna get it in on Hulu. We streaming. No more living behind the Comedy Central app and all them crazy passwords and all that technical stuff that kept my stuff seen. I'm thankful I had the opportunities, but I'm gonna just be real. We'll say it. Yes. No, but I'm gonna be real about the tech. Especially my first two, because this is before Paramount Plus. If you didn't see my special that night on Comedy Central and you didn't have cable,
right?
and this ain't the era of the DVD dropping and then you get bootleg.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Well, tell me about Have I Got News for You?
They did. It's a British show where it's a fake game show where we quiz people on current events. And you bring on, it's myself, Amber Ruffin, and Michael Ian Black. and we essentially just bring on guests and talk crazy about the news. And one week it might be a Democrat, the next week it might be a Tennessee Republican who Amber roast to high hell and put their feet to the fire. Because, you know, the British version of the show has been on for 30 years, and it's essentially their daily show in a way, where they bring on officials.
Oh, they bring on, okay, so it's not just random people, like it's politicians.
Oh, yeah, it's politicians, it's state reps, it's people who may have used to work for some administration or the speechwriter for so-and-so. And so in Britain, like in America, you go out and you do an interview, like a Daily Show correspondent, go do an interview with somebody, and then you get a gotcha or you stick it to them.
Mm-hmm.
In England, these buffalo, they come on the show and let you just talk trash to their face. And so that's kind of what we're trying to create. Because, you know, I'm gonna be honest, like, there have been people have called us out for the idea of giving audience to Republicans, right?
Okay.
And so, which is fair, I understand it. But my question is always, well, what has the last 8 years of not including them in any of the conversations been? And so if it's going to be some form of accountability, or at least being able to show everybody else, this is what the hell we've been talking about, you need somebody right there in the chair. So, you know, if you've got any sitting elected official on either side of the aisle that want to come and sit down, we're going to have you on the show. And if you're somebody that's on some bullshit, we're going to call you out about it to your funky ass face. and crack a joke or two. It'll be funny. Like, it ain't no, you know,
and crack a joke or two.
Cuss you out. But that's the gist of the show. We ain't back till February, though. I think CNN wanted to get around I think they already had programming set. Yeah, you didn't know. Because to be fair to CNN, you didn't know if it was going to be a riot.
Well, we still don't know. It ain't happened yet. So
I don't know. It snowed January 6th. Them Patriots wasn't about that snow.
Well, we are about some 60-second headlines. And so we're going to talk about some news that's coming on in the world right now. So let's get into it, y'all.
60-second headlines. Gonna run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
Okay. Some 60-second headlines. Okay. You know, let's start with Lupe. So Lupe Fiasco. Okay, so Wasalu Jaco, I could say that because we used to date. Lupe Fiasco recently took to IG with this message. He said, imagine if there was a 24-hour fully AI-powered radio station trained on all the intricacies of my rapping abilities and was carefully refined to produce the highest quality possible Lupe Fiasco songs. Now imagine it only played a generated song once and never again endlessly. Now imagine that radio station was only available for certain periods of time and only in certain locations, and you needed an actual FM radio to hear the songs. Imagine I put a team together at MIT, and imagine we actually built it. This was apparently an announcement for Endless Loop, which is an AI-powered radio station broadcasting Lupe's music that he says will launch this year. How do we feel about this?
Who is, and I'm not even asking this on some hating on Lupe type shit. Who is it for?
Okay, so here's the thing. I remember when we were seeing each other. I remember we were in the car one time, and you know what? It was when remember when the Wu-Tang was selling like that one copy of an album for like
the Shkreli album that Martin
for like $1 million, and Martin Shkreli bought it, right? So I remember him saying like, you know what? I'm gonna do this with my albums. Like I feel like my music is like the Louis Vuitton of music. Like I put so much work into it, like it's higher quality. So I feel like I should charge higher quality for it. Like how we charge higher quality for higher quality, garments. And I was like, yeah, Was, I don't think that's going to work. Like, I don't know that that's how music should be sold.
Okay. But then the idea of this bespoke, if you will, I think that's the word they be using in the fashion world.
Well,
You are
couture.
creating, okay, couture. You're using a couture ideation. I think the fact that it's AI, I think it's a bad idea only because AI has not yet quite gotten to that point. It's still making photographs of people with 6 fingers. And when you talk about the intricacies of rap, and his rap style is not very traditional. Like if this was, and I also say this with respect, if this was Little John saying he was using AI to
Well,
create
it's just
verses,
it's a much more simpler. I mean, Lil
punch him,
Jon is not
but
out
punch
here
him.
like
Yeah, I
I'm a
bet you
lyricist.
won't kick him. Yeah, correct. Lupe is I don't know if that would be
But also, like, why? Because the other part of it is that it starts to create quantity instead of quality, which to
I,
me is completely irrelevant. Like music, it just takes like okay, I consider music to be a representation of the human experience.
fair.
It is a form that comes from our soul, our spirit, our heart beats in a rhythm, like our literal body functions rhythmically, and that is where the music comes from. So for AI, I'm like, what's the point? Like, what's the
I
point of having AI making music? It's
I
not
think
made
money.
from the human experience. Oh,
I
right. I
think
always
I
forget
think
that.
the issue is money, and also I think if you really want to get doomsday apocalyptic, I think that is where radio is headed anyway. At least with DJs, most
Well,
radio
then it's a good
stations.
thing that they canceled my show.
AI, please create me a show that is funnier and not as serious as Amanda Seals Income.
You know they're still doing my show? Like
What do
they're
you
still
mean?
playing my
Clips.
imaging, etc. And apparently my former co-host and the executive producer are still there, like doing the AI version of my show.
Oh wow! So they're doing the Amanda Seals show without Amanda Seals, and like, oh yeah, Amanda's on assignment right now. We'll have her back once we have a solution to how to
Right.
replace her.
I have to call my lawyer today about that because I'm just like, no, we can't.
I think that. Let me ask you a question about when we talk about couture music creation. Do most hip hop consumers have a palate to appreciate something that is made with finer ingredients? And
Most no, which is the why his argument was since most don't, then it equals out because the few that do will pay for it, which
yeah,
that was
if I'm the person that has a high palate, why would I want processed food? I want
well,
Lupe
okay,
in the
sorry. I was
studio
talking
to
about what he
create
was
the
saying
drink.
back in the day. In this case with the AI, I don't think you have to pay for anything. I think it's like he said, it's FM. I think it's really just
No, but
he's
he's
at
gaining
MIT
money
and
off
it's
of that. You're saying why he's doing it. It's free to the people because they are the product. And so then you put ads against that shit and then you pocket
oh
some
well,
of the ad
yes.
money. And you ain't got to go to the studio and write all of this stuff. If AI can write as well as you, I just don't think that an artist as intricate as Lupe Fiasco could could trust a computer to create something as quality as what he ideates on his own.
I think Lupe just likes the technology of it all. And like Lupe is a nerd. And so he's like, this is cool. We're going to push this over the airwaves. And
I
that's
I
cool.
I do think that AI has the potential to change sketch comedy if there is a comedian that dares to step into that water, but I don't know how it will be received by the
Mm,
general public. There's green screens where you can drop yourself into literally any type of scenario that you want to be in.
right.
That changes your budget for shooting a sketch
Right.
automatically, and it looks very realistic. And so that to me could be something that could elevate sketch in a way that hasn't been done up
But
until
to
this
me,
point.
that's like, that's more so the AI being used as a resource, not as the source,
Fair,
you
fair.
know?
AI didn't write the sketch.
Yeah. But it allowed for the sketch to elevate. Speaking of elevated, I'm very impressed with Costco. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, Costco.
He's like, why you impressed with Costco? Okay. So, y'all, with Project 2025 administration of loudly racist individuals, like really just, Birdman baby, their handsing about getting into power, we have seen a number of companies and schools and organizations back away from DEI initiatives. However, Costco is going wholesale on not playing with that. So they have an upcoming shareholders meeting, and the board of directors were presented with this proposal. I'm just going to read you an excerpt, okay? The following shareholder proposal has been submitted to the company for action at the annual meeting, blah, 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 blah. It's clear that DEI holds litigation, reputational, and financial risks for the company, and therefore financial problems. And yet Costco still has such a program, still employs a chief diversity officer, and still contributes shareholder money to organizations that advance the discriminatory agenda of DEI. So essentially, someone who is a shareholder submitted this. So when you are a shareholder or you own stocks in the company, you can literally submit something that the board has to vote on. And the board doesn't have to vote on everything, but if enough people submit it that are shareholders, so that's why, like, when people say, like, you invest in something where you can vote your shares. So there was a lot of Black investors in Microsoft who, when they found out that the Microsoft face technology was racist because it was just not able to function properly and it was incriminating Black people.
Blackface, yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of Black shareholders at Microsoft who submitted to the shareholders meeting, like, you all need to vote on this because we as shareholders are going to take our money out if you continue to back this. And so that's called voting your shares. So the board had to meet, and this came on the agenda, and this was the board's response. Okay, this was the board's response. Our board has considered this proposal and believes that our commitment to an enterprise rooted in respect and inclusion is appropriate and necessary. I wish I had a Funk Flex bomb. The report requested by this proposal would not provide meaningful additional information to our shareholders, and the board thus unanimously recommends a vote against this proposal.
Shut
and then
your mouth.
they go on to explain. One of the things they say in here is having diversity in our supplier base, including appropriate attention to small businesses, is beneficial for many of the same reasons diversity benefits our company. We believe that it fosters creativity and innovation in the merchandise and services that we offer our members. The board of directors recommends a vote against.
Yeah. And them racists still gonna come in there and shop because they got the best deals. You can talk all that, they just think of all the stuff that supposedly they supposed to have been boycotting over the last couple of years. Like, oh, we ain't doing no more Pepsi, we ain't doing no more Budweiser. Was it Bud Light? Because
one of them,
but
Target, Nike.
Shut up. You're gonna be in there. I really love that. I also love the fact that so many places are still, when they could be backing down and bending the knee to Trump, they're still going, no, diversities matter. We looked at it. And matter of fact,
who else? I haven't seen anybody else besides Costco.
Well, the Academy is still beholding Best Picture nominations to meet DE&I standards on the staffing side of the actual, on the crew side of films. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, because now you can't just have a completely white ass crew. You probably can still have a white ass.
I was going to say, because Insecure, we had a completely white ass crew. Yes, we did.
Well, that's a whole separate conversation. Because it would be like,
we have Black PAs, but we had Tony, who was our Black sound guy.
You ever wonder how much of that, well, granted, it's different because I shot my Comedy Central pilot in Birmingham, and I had predominantly white crew. I had predominantly Alabama residents working on it. But man, like the idea of like the politics within those.
Well, the unions, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's hard to even avoid. You know,
Yeah.
like it's not even shade to Insecure. It's more so shade to the unions because oftentimes the unions are really gatekeepers.
I'm Tony. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be grip on this. You don't get the job. I get the job. I'm doing the Birmingham job. So even if the people you want to hire, you can't half the time, or you're going to run into a buzzsaw where until you get the leverage to really make those moves, it's hard, man. But hats off to Costco on that. That's it feel good to shop in a store like
Doesn't
that.
it? That's all I'm saying. Like, if this feels good to be able to be like, oh, okay, I can go to your store. Your store.
I had ChatGPT create a Lupe Fiasco verse if you want me to read it.
I
to
want to
you.
hear it.
It's not that bad, if I'm being honest. Like
Okay.
it's not the greatest verse of all time. In the land of the lost, where the echoes of pain whisper of the youth caught in a cycle of rain, I'm a poet with purpose, paint my soul to the beat, walking paths untraveled where legends and dreams meet. Got the heart of a lion, mind sharp as a blade, breaking through the chains that the system has laid. Every lyric a weapon, every line of defiance, speaking truth of power, igniting a fire in silence.
I mean, but it could be Lupe, it could be Logic.
It's like a hamburger from Applebee's.
Like
It'll do the job.
Well, speaking of doing the job, Ohio police are now charging for body cam footage.
Boy, that racism going race. Tell them how much, though. Tell them how much.
Okay, so near midnight this past Thursday, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine signed a controversial bill that allows law enforcement agencies to charge the public hundreds of dollars for footage, including body cameras. If you want to look it up, the provision is part of HB 315. It means that police can charge up to $75 an hour.
Y'all crazy.
For work with a fee cap of $750.
$750.
And let me also note that this was the argument, okay, that the Fraternal Order of Police representative Mike Weinman said. He said, this law is supposed to help smaller municipalities that already struggle with staffing. Whoever is in charge of their public records, that person might be pulled off the road to get this footage. So now that means there's a person who's not responding to calls, who's not out there being proactive in the community. Bro.
Y'all so shady. And here's the thing. What you gonna do with that funky ass $750? What you gonna do with that? That's
what are
just
you gonna do with that?
Petty fees. You may as well charge $3. It's petty.
It's also petty. It should not be. It's the same way that well, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that you have to pay when you do that. What's it called when you demand records that are like it's like a public.
Yeah, public record. Yeah. Now, when you're going for it's not discovery, that's law. But if I wanted to go and get I had to go get some of my paperwork straight so I can get in Canada without any bullshit because of me shoplifting when I was 19. To go get that paperwork from the federal courthouse in Tallahassee, it's like $4 for them to make copies of it or, whatever the hell it is. So I understand, but y'all, I own a body cam. So let me start there.
Oh, wow.
I own a body cam because I went through a phase in New York when I first moved here where I felt like I needed to record my just every move because I don't like. Matter of fact, I need to put that shit back on. But I did not feel comfortable in the city all the time and some of the encounters I was having with people. To upload that footage, it's literally the same as plugging your phone into your laptop. And then a little window come up and go, hey, motherfucker, do you want to click and drag this to the folder? And you go, yeah. And then you email me that file. That ain't $75 worth of work. And y'all acting like that because you want to obstruct. And then the thing that's wild, you're going to pay the $75. They still going to edit and redact.
Exactly. Let me just also point out that when I ask the question, people keep putting FOIA. Y'all, giving me acronyms is not helpful. FOI to me is the fruit of Islam. Okay.
Freedom of
Freedom of
Information Act.
Act. Yes.
Yeah, I know that because I've flunked mass media law 2 times. Shout out to FAMU journalism. So you have a right to the information, but you do have to pay a certain cost to have it reproduced, and if you're leaving with copies. Otherwise, you can look at the shit for free in the office. Microfilms and
Yes,
all of that
microfiche.
shit. Yeah, all of that shit. The library, but this is. I got to give it up to the police though. They have figured out a way, every which way, to obstruct and dance around these body cameras. We remember when body cams was the victory. Remember that? Remember 2014 when you was at the Trayvon rally with your hoodie on, and they go, yeah, they gonna wear the cameras.
Yeah.
Now we gonna see the racism, and the police was like, we forgot to turn it on.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. We can't release the footage because it's from an ongoing investigation. Sorry.
We can't even find the footage. We don't even.
And then the police so slick, they know how to wear the camera right here and then hold the gun right here. So you can't even see. The camera can't see nothing. This all the camera see is just nothing. Ashy as heck.
I said, why is his hair so ashy?
To be fair, I walked my son to school today. It's 20 degrees.
And it's
I didn't relotion.
Did you wear your body cam when you walk to school? Because they could be on that streets ready to get you.
I'll say this much: when you're a civilian with a body cam on, people move different around you. And that I liked. I really enjoyed that. Like the fact that people are like, yeah.
I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah, it's legal. It's very legal. I feel like also if you have a body cam,
it feels like you're giving Tony Starks.
Yeah, what I really want is the button cam. They got the button cam joints. You ever go to the spy shop? Oh, white folks, there's a lot of sneaky white people toys. James Bond type shit. They got the button cam and you can run the wire down your back. To me, that would be real safety because now you don't know that I'm recording you. And now if you're talking crazy, I got that on tape.
Well, we're going to get your special on tape because we're going to actually be able to watch it. We're not going to have to get it via paywall.
Get the Comedy Central All Access app, CBS All Access. If you'll subscribe, please. Yeah,
so
it's
we're
on
going,
Hulu,
we're going straight worldwide. To Hulu. Lonely Flowers, January 17th, y'all. I know some of y'all are like, well, we're boycotting Disney, ABC, etc. Just turn it on to support Roy Wood and then turn it back off. Okay.
That's it. That's all you got to do. Just turn it on, turn it off.
Turn on, turn it off.
That.
Lonely Flowers, January 17th on Hulu. I can't wait to check it out. Y'all know, look, Roy is one of my favorites, and I don't say that lightly. You know.
Anytime you reach out, I'm here.
Let me also say that to y'all. I literally texted Roy and was like, what are you doing on Wednesday, January 8th at 10:15 a.m. Eastern? And he was like, let me know what time I need to be out. I mean, let me know what the stories are, etc. I was like, I don't even got to do nothing. These influencers, they be like, what is the compensation? Can you also inform me of how long I will be expected to be a part of this? I'm like, you know what? No time. You won't need to be here at all. That's that. Well, thank you, Roy, always for showing up and showing out. And y'all need to go and watch Lonely Flowers January 17th on Hulu. And we
love you, friend.
Love you too. And we'll be right back right here.
I'm gonna go get some lotion real quick for my hands.
Right here at Views from AmandaLand.
Woman. Topa Shank Show. What y'all niggas watching? Topa Shanks.
Topra Stings.
It's 2025. The year has now begun. And Harriet is back in a pin holding a gun.
Ooh, she did that. That's cute.
You're excited. I'm excited.
Mon-Wed! It is I, Topper Shanks, here to inform you that your wishes have been granted. The Harriet Pistol Pin is back in the AmandaLand export store for a limited time. How much time? A limited amount. That much. If you missed out on the first batch, well, now you don't have to feel left out. Get you a Harriet Pistol Pin from the AmandaLand export store. She will be doing a drop every month for you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Yes! Topra, can I get a pin? You have to ask yourself, if Harriet Tubman came back, would she pull out a pistol on you? Oh! There's your answer. Pop, pop. A Harriet Tubman pistol pin. Look at the detail. So come on over.
Topper Shanks.
Y'all go and get your Harriet Tubman pistol pins. They are back at AmandaLand Exports until Sunday. Okay, so they're only available until Sunday. Well, you know, I'm a little behind today, so we're gonna bring on our next guest, and then after that, I'm gonna hit you with a Black Joy story. I'm gonna hit you with this week's Small Doses podcast episode and a clip from that. So just giving you a heads up on what you can expect, all right? Because I don't want to keep our guest waiting, okay? I'm very excited to welcome Laura Chung, author of How to Manifest and host of the Awaken and Align podcast.
Hi, Amanda.
Hello. I'm so happy to have you here. I learned about Laura Chung on the internet. You know, every so often I'm like, okay, Mark, I guess you guys knew what you were doing, because I feel like post October 7th, those of us who actually have humanity still at the helm, we're kind of like siloed into each other, right? Like, oh, this person also cares about humans. You should see them. And so you were one of those people. And so it is great. And I told the people that you gave me the most accurate reading that I've ever received. And this wasn't even like me sitting in front of her.
Yeah. I'm so humbled because, you know, again, I don't really know that much about your personal life. So I really had to lean into my astrological abilities to give you that little mini reading. But I'm glad that it resonated.
It did. So can you give us like some insight into how you even got into astrology? Like, what made you fall in love with the stars?
I've always been a lover of the stars. I grew up in just a little outside of New York City. And as a kid, I would always look up at the sky. I knew exactly where Jupiter was. I knew exactly the phases of the moon. And I have to say, like, my introduction to astrology was through Vedic and Chinese astrology, and they are way harsher in those systems. And so it wasn't until like the early 2010s when I would read Susan Miller's blog. I don't know if anybody remembers those, but every month she would drop her monthly astrology, and me and my girlfriends would always be like, oh my God. And we would commiserate on our horoscopes. But honestly, I didn't get serious about studying it until 2020, the pandemic. And my life just kind of fell apart again. And I think that's why people get into astrology, is when their life kind of crumbles and you try to find a reason for like a meaning towards the collapse. And I started studying with teachers, and like everything that was happening at my life at the time was explained by the astrological transits and how they were aspecting my personal chart. So that's how I started really taking it seriously.
Well, I will tell you guys, when Laura was giving me my reading, she would be like, yeah, I don't know. It feels like around October 2023, like you started having like financial changes. Like it would be such things that were so very specific. And the whole time you were reading, I was like, yeah. And then at one point you were like, this is literally just telling you that, like, if you felt like things have been really screwed up, like, you're not crazy. Like, there is a real, like, the transits really were doing this. And anybody who has been, particularly like the SEAL Squad, people who have been following me this last year, 2024, it tried to take me out, Lord. They tried to take me out.
I see it. And honestly, that's also why I love astrology, because it helps validate people when they're otherwise gaslit by their experiences. And it just also shows that transits are not forever. And so this cycle of your life was difficult for a reason. And so I wanted to, that's why I said, you know, I'm going to tell you the hard parts right now, but I want you to be excited for what's to come next year.
Well, I greatly appreciate it. Now, here we are in 2025. And I know that you do this in like a full, like, formal way, and people can hear the full formal version, but I would love for you to just give us some tidbits on what we as the people of the world, because we got people watching from all over the world, what we as the people of the world can expect due to the transits. What is possible, I guess I should say.
Okay. Thank you for saying it that way, because I can definitely come on here and talk about all the transits that for 2025 and beyond for us, specifically also in the United States. We're going through multiple situations here. And but what's possible is that nothing is set in stone. The future is not written yet. And so I think it's really important to understand that we have the power to change things in the way that we desire. And it's really important to do that now, as things are kind of like dying and molding, and we have the power to shape it in the way that we want to see the future. And so, you know, I want to empower everybody to do the work internally, because that's really where it starts. I say, like, the revolution starts from within, understanding where you are oppressed and how you are also the oppressor. So
that last part,
yeah, it's
really are running from that.
It's actually the most difficult part, because you have to take accountability of how you might have caused harm to others. And that takes a lot of self-awareness. So,
I mean, and sometimes it's not even like you have a choice. Like me being an American in the United States, I am a colonizer, whether I like it or not. And someone the other day when I said that was like, well, no, that's them doing that. And I'm like, no, my passport says United States of America. I am complicit. Like, I am paying taxes. I am still, you know, and I was like, I liken it to, like, there are white people who are down for the people, but they still white.
Yeah. And like what you were saying, our tax dollars are funding multiple genocides around the world. And so there is a responsibility that comes with that. And to say that you're not political, water's political. So I don't know what to tell you.
Water's political is real. So what do we feel like the United States is headed towards astrologically?
So right now we're going through a Pluto return. And so Pluto is the planet of transformation. And if you think about transformation, it entails death. And so the United States is in its death rattle, and we can see it like all around us if you are paying attention. And the United States has a symbolic birth chart. It's called the Sibley chart. You can look it up. And it's based on the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which is July 4th, 1776. This is when the settlers wanted their independence from the British Empire, because at that time they were raising taxes because of the very costly French and Indian War that they waged before then. And so embedded in the USA's chart is freedom from an oppressive monarchy and also taxes. So I don't think it's a coincidence that now in our Pluto return, and a return just means when a planet returns to its original place of birth. You celebrate your solar return every birthday. The United States and a lot of its citizens are aware of the fact that our tax dollars, again, taxation without representation, are funding genocide, essentially.
Yes.
And so, the themes of revolution coming back are not unprecedented when we are going through a Pluto return. And this year, Uranus, the planet of revolution, rebellion, awakening, will move into the sign of Gemini, which is also a return. Uranus will return back to its position of the United States birth. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes.
Okay. And there's multiple outer planets, and outer planets are collective planets moving signs this year. And so on March 30th, Neptune, the planet about our ideals and our beliefs, but also our delusions, is moving into the sign of Aries. And a lot of astrologers point to this as being significant because the Civil War began on April 12th. I want to get this date right, 1861. And the very next day, Neptune moved into the sign of Aries. And during the American Civil War, Uranus was going through its second return. So if you track the cycles of these moving into these signs, it speaks about revolution. It speaks about times of just unrest. And yeah, so I'm not saying that those things are exactly going to happen, but just given the climate right now,
Yes.
And so you want to use prediction as a way to mitigate some of the harshness of what's to come. And that's really how they also used astrology back in ancient times. Even in Indian and Chinese astrology, use feng shui to mitigate some of the bad fortune, So I don't want to say this to fearmonger at all, to prepare us for what's to come.
You had said something on your Instagram where you were like, revolution doesn't necessarily just mean for the good guys.
Yes.
So can you speak to that a little bit?
So these planets and signs, based on the context, they play out. So what you're referring to was when I did that Pluto in Aquarius video, where it was the age of revolution. And during that time, it was the American Revolution, and then the French Revolution, and then the Haitian Revolution, and the Irish Rebellion. And all of these revolutions are important in the context of that time. But most people only talk about the American and French Revolution. But it was because of the American Revolution, because France was involved in helping the settlers, that then they became really in debt when they were already in debt. And so that kind of also prompted the French Revolution. And it was because of the French Revolution that sparked the Haitian Revolution, because, their fellow Frenchmen are talking about equality for everybody. And they're like, wait a minute.
Right.
Because, at that time, Haiti, which was Saint-Domingue, was a French colony. And then, the Irish being like, wait a minute, we deserve to be free from the British Empire as well. So it's not just a one-sided thing, but people really have to take into context that these planets in signs isn't just one side.
And
because
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that during the Pluto in Aquarius time was when the Bill of Rights was ratified, the 12 amendments to the Constitution, and one of them being the freedom of speech. And so again, we're in Pluto Aquarius now for 20 years. I really do believe the Bill of Rights in some way is going to change during this Pluto in Aquarius.
Mm.
We
I
see it
mean,
already with the TikTok ban.
I was going to say, my concern is that it's going to change for the worst. I mean, that's to me what's going to happen, is that they're planning on really just rescinding rights that were given and taking it back. They keep saying "Make America Great Again." And they know exactly what they mean by that.
Oh, yes.
They know exactly what they mean by that. Well, do you have any suggestions for folks on, because you talk a lot about just like mental health and self-care, like how they can mitigate their own anxieties with this, star-driven information?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say self-care because it's been bastardized, but like
Yeah.
I've read Audre Lorde's definition of self-care. So
Yes.
it really is important to find your grounding in whatever shape or form it is, because the news is just going to get more chaotic. It's just going to get more and more chaotic as we get into the age of air and fire. And it's really important for you to have discernment on what you watch and where you're getting your news and information. And I mean, that's why they're doing the TikTok ban. And just to get to a place where you trust your gut and intuition, honestly. And spiritual practices, I was saying to Amanda yesterday that so much of what's happening, we have to also trust we can't see. Like there's a thread that's weaving all of us together. And I mean, Amanda and I met each other on Instagram. So there is some magical thread that's trying to help us if we take the time to sit and listen. You can call that ancestors, universe, God, goddess, whoever you pray to, but also to cultivate that practice.
I feel like that's something that a lot of people are stepping into, like myself included, like in the last 2 years. Like you eventually just like, well, you know what? I need something to get through this. God dang it. Because this isn't going to just be enough for me to ride on myself and some nebulous idea of what I think spirituality is. So somebody in here was like, I know you don't believe this bullshit. This is how I look at astrology. The truth of the matter is that none of us know the truth of the matter. Like,
not at all.
We're all here just trying to figure it out. Some of us aren't even trying to do our best. Actually, some of us aren't trying to figure it out. Some of us are trying to literally just drain everything we can from this place while we're here. And so I look at astrology the same way I look at spirituality, the same way I look at really just curiosity, which is a support system for trying to understand this human experience.
100%.
I'll take any support systems that make sense. And I'm sorry, y'all. I am a Cancer to the hilt. I am a Cancer, Virgo. When you were describing Cancer, Virgo, I was like, yep, to the hilt. So zodiac and all that may not apply for some people. They may not feel like it applies to them. But as somebody who is super duper self-aware, it applies to me. 1 billion%.
You are living your chart like to the T, for sure.
Yay! Applause. Well, Laura, please tell the people where they can get more from your astrological mind and where they can check out any other work that you want them to know about.
Thank you so much. And it's such a pleasure to speak with you. You can find me on the Instagram. I am Laura Chung. And because I had to remember which one got banned or not. My website, laurakchung.com, my podcast, Awaken and Align.
laurakchung.com. And can you tell us a little bit about the podcast?
Yeah, it's really about how to take the spiritual wisdom into your everyday life. And it's I do interview style, which will come back soon. Thank you. And astrology. And I think it's like you were saying, like just be curious, like try to listen to every type of spirituality modality and see which one resonates with you.
There you have it, y'all. Just see which one resonates with you. Some of y'all are here Monday through Wednesday, because Views from AmandaLand resonates with you. Look, we got people that just subbed to your podcast. All right. So it's happening.
Thank
It's
you.
happening. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us and for giving us a heads up that the revolution is here. The
It's here.
revolution is coming. So everybody get ready. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Amanda.
Listen, don't act surprised. When it go down, don't act surprised, y'all. Don't act surprised when it goes down, because it's very real. And I think that there's something to be said about the whole double-sided part of revolution, right? And I think a lot of times people only think of revolution as a thing that progressive people do, and that's simply just not the case. Unfortunately, there are revolutions that happen in the worst way. The Third Reich coming into power was in a certain way a revolution, like a fascist revolution is that. I mean, they are taking over, typically violently. It's what it is. And I brought up Laura because I feel like we should take in any level of insight that's going to give us more tools to respond thoughtfully. And so someone here just said, Shannon Sharp tried to shut down the spirituality astrology convo. Meanwhile, he praised the colonizer Jesus. Here's the thing, praying to Jesus, I have no shade for that. My issue with him trying to suggest that was not real or that psychics weren't real was like, okay, but when Tabitha Brown came on your show and shared with you that she had a vision of your success, you believe that. So why does this not apply now? We got to stop bringing him up because he's not a source of knowledge. So who is a source of knowledge? Me. And so you know what? It's time for us to get into a story of Black joy. All right, y'all. Let's take it on over to the motherland. All right. Now, we were just talking about the French Revolution and how the Haitian Revolution happened in the same space and time, et cetera, et cetera. And there is a revolution happening right now in the Sahel region of Africa. Does anyone know what the Sahel region of Africa is? Does anyone know what the Sahel region of Africa? Because we need to be talking about geography. So what is the Sahel region of Africa? Please tell me. Now, in the meantime, while you all are working that out, let me tell you what's going on in the Ivory Coast. The Ivory Coast has called for the withdrawal of troops deployed by former colonial power France. All right. President Alassane Ouattara, who's been in power since 2010, by the way, but that's a whole other conversation for a whole other time. He has announced in his New Year's message that 43rd BIMA Marine Infantry Battalion at Port Bouet in Abidjan, where French troops are stationed, would be handed over to domestic forces in January. Okay. Yes. There was a lot of New Year's messages happening, right? Where folks was like, these leaders was on the mic, like, you know what? Let me just tell y'all what it is. All right, let me tell y'all what the Sahel region is. We got Jans21 said countries near the Sahara, not sure which ones. Good one. We'll give you. Miguel Jones said, I'm a professor in the College of Education. Look at Dr. Amanda teaching. Oh, thank you. I didn't even realize that's what that said. Okay. Rolando Didi said the Sahel is the part that separates the savannah from the Sahara, I believe. Ooh, y'all. Okay. And Adrina Garcia said the middle of savannah and Sahara. That is correct. So the Sahel map right here shows you that the Sahel region is that part between the Sahara and the Savannah. So you have countries Eritrea, Sudan, Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea-Bissau, the Gambia, Senegal, Mauritania, and all of these countries were colonized by France, and many of them are saying, France, you need to get the hell out in various ways. Let's talk about Mali real quick.
Government of Mali has dropped French names assigned to roads, squares, and other public facilities in the capital, Bamako. Mali said on Wednesday, December 18th, that the move decolonizes the minds of the Malian people, removes monuments in honor of the colonizer, and ensures a return to national identity.
This is a really big deal. Though the whole idea of national identity is a whole other talk, because national identity essentially is still taking ownership of like borders that were drawn by colonizers, it still is a really huge step forward to actively remove the colonizers first. And when we start seeing the borders of the motherland starting to shift, because you're starting to see countries like Ghana say, you know, we're going to allow people to come into the country from the motherland, but that don't have visas, that is definitely beginning an idea of community among the African nations. Now, of course, corruption is still incredibly deeply embedded. Okay, we still have the places like the Sudan, we have places like the Congo, we have a number of countries in Africa that still are being ruled by, and I say ruled because they're literally being led by somebody who is being puppeteered by a foreign nation, whether it's the United States or England or France. We know that. Nonetheless, there is a move in the right direction. And we often see that once a trend begins, as Laura just talked about with revolutions, once the trend begins, it can continue. Now, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger also said kick rocks in December 2024 within hours of each other. Okay, within hours of each other, Senegal and Chad announced the departure of French soldiers from their soil. And on December 26th, France returned the first military base back to Chad. Now, recently, Macron, who's the president of France, he got caught on tape talking real messy, okay, because he was saying that the countries that France colonized owes France a thank you. And the leaders in Chad and Senegal was like, now hold on now. Chad expresses Abdurrahman Kulmala, the Chadian foreign minister, said Chad expresses its deep concern following the remarks made recently, which reflect a contemptuous attitude towards Africa and Africans. Ousmane Sonko said France has neither the capacity nor the legitimacy to ensure Africa's security and sovereignty. Now, he's coming from Senegal, and let me just tell you, Senegal ain't playing with folks, okay? Senegal is not playing with folks right now. But I thought this was interesting that back in 2001, former French President Jacques Chirac said this in Yaoundé during the 21st Africa-France Summit. So there was about 30 heads of state there, and he said this, listen close. While speaking of Africa, we must check our memory. We started draining the continent 4.5 centuries ago with the slave trade. Next, we discovered their raw materials and seized them. Having deprived Africans of their wealth, we sent in our elites who destroyed their culture. Now we are depriving them of their brains thanks to scholarships, which are definitely another form of exploitation, because at the end, the most intelligent students do not go back to their countries. In the end, noticing that Africa is not in a good state, and as bonuses for the wealth we made on its back, we cannot be giving lectures. Little too late. But yeah, that's real. And I'm really surprised that he even said that. This was the former president of France. I'm really surprised he even said that. So they know what they're doing. They know what they've done. They know what it is. So it's really not like some shock and amazement. It's the facts. Y'all came through. You graped this land. And now you want to act like they're supposed to thank you for that. So really happy to see Black folks in the diaspora, to see the countries of the motherland who know their resources, starting to understand that it's not going to be us individually that's going to work. We have to be actively challenging, and we have to follow the momentum of each other and let that lead us, because that is going to empower us. And so that is your a story of Black joy. I gotta tell you, I feel like I'm a little out of sorts today. Like, it just feels like the show is like all over the place. But nonetheless, I want to make sure that you all remember that we do have a bonus question that we are asking folks. But before we get into the bonus question, we have not done this yet today. Show your love, show your love, show your love, yeah, show your love. I said, hit me in the cash app, baby. Hit me in the cash app, baby. Show your love. Show your love. Show your love. Show your love. Squab to good no da dee da do da do scoot da do la do do scat do san do do da do. How y'all like the scatting? How y'all like the scatting? How y'all like the scatting? Yeah, man. So, want y'all to know that today we have a new episode of Small Doses Podcast dropping. Side effects of accountability. Let's check out a clip. Accountability I will take with Insecure is that I feel like I have never really fully understood or paid enough attention to the disparate difference between where Insecure exists for me as a show and where it exists for people as viewers. And that maybe there was a bit more responsibility that I could have held in preserving the fantasy for viewers. The thing about it, though, is that I am such a realist. Part of that is just my personality. The other part of it is just my autism. Like, I exist in very rigid realism mindsets. So it's taken me quite a minute to like get over the hump to see, oh, when I would be talking about this show in my real lived experience, it was so jarring to people because they really are protecting it and it's very precious for them as an artistic experience. This is real. I mean, this is real, y'all. Like, I genuinely did not think of it that way. But for a lot of people, that was disruptive to them. And I don't know. Like, when you're having a completely different experience, it's like, oh, like I'm like disturbing this world. And trust me, in some cases, I'm like, yeah, let me disturb. But in this case, it's like, I mean, it's art. So I don't feel like that's necessarily like what needed to happen. But this episode, Side Effects of Accountability, really talks about just when we are expected to take accountability and in what scenarios are we thought of for taking accountability. I think I get a bad rap a lot of times because people expect me to take accountability about things that I didn't do wrong. I get people telling me all the time, like, you don't ever take accountability, you're a narcissist. And I'm like, what situations have I shared with you where there's accountability that I need to be taken? It sounds like you're saying that I need to somehow admit to why I gave someone the opportunity to harm me. And so there's that. But there's also just the power in accountability for yourself. And I think a lot of people are afraid of what happens if you take accountability. Like they feel like they're going to dissolve, you know, like they're going to dust into dust if they simply just admit they're wrong. but it can be such a freeing, liberating experience. And especially if you are doing that with somebody and letting them know that, you give them the opportunity to say, okay, this person can see me and see my humanity in a real way. And I think we have a problem with not doing enough of that. So check out Small Doses, Side Effects of Accountability. It is available right now wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch Side Effects of Accountability on Patreon. So you can subscribe to Patreon and you can watch the actual episode. So you can also, being a member of Patreon, you can be a part of our live DMT sessions. So we are doing DMTs today with Kimberly Latrice Jones, who is an incredible organizer and has been just doing a multitude of work in the community for quite some time. So she's going to join us today to talk about side effects of engaging youth in activism. And we also have Sarah El Hassan, who you may know as BS on Blast on Instagram. She gives like daily reports and updates about what's going on in Sudan. And so she's going to join us for Side Effects of Sudan 101, because I don't think a lot of people even know where to start. And so she's going to give us just a ground level, entry level insight into what is going on in Sudan. And I saw something really disturbing about Sudan this morning that I can't even remember. I read so much BS this morning about the world that, that's what I saw. The U.S. accused the Sudanese paramilitary group and its proxies of committing genocide. Okay, so y'all do know what genocide is. Okay, so y'all do know what genocide is. Got it. Okay, so y'all do. Okay, because I mean, y'all be acting like y'all don't know what genocide, but y'all do know. Okay. Got it. Cool. Great. Yeah. Anywho, that is the show. And before I go, I want to do a couple things. One, remind you to call me up because tomorrow will be the first bonus question segment.
Bonus question. Bonus question. Bonus question. Bonus question.
Okay, so the bonus question for this week is, what kind of tree would you be? What kind of tree are you? Okay, what kind of tree are you? There's this video that I've been playing of Alice Walker, and she's talking about how she's had to come into her own and just be like, this is who I am. Y'all keep asking me, why do I do this? Why do I do that? But if you think of nature, like, you don't ask nature those questions. You don't ask a peach tree, why is it making peaches? And so that made me say, well, what kind of tree am I? I'm a mangrove tree. So I want to know what kind of tree you all are. You can go to amandaseals.com, leave a message, and I am going to do a segment every week where I respond to your bonus question messages. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a great time. We love new stuff. And before we get out of here, let me hit you with one of these. PSA. So I spoke yesterday about how I've been going through the process of dealing with my cat, Lando, who has cancer. And I wanted to talk about today just how important it is that when you go to the vet or even when you go to the doctor, like, you're gonna have to advocate. So when I took Lando to the vet the first time to get the CAT scan, I felt like the physician was basically on some like, well, this is what's going on. It's inoperable. So he is going to go downhill, and then you're just going to pay attention until, he's not eating, and then you'll let him go. And I was like, okay, but like, what am I supposed to do in the meantime, in between time? And he's like, you just like make sure that he's enjoying life, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, okay, but like, I don't know that this is going to happen immediately. And he was like, oh, cancer spreads really fast. And I just felt so frustrated as a not just the idea of a pet owner, but as someone who has been given the responsibility of, caring for this being and this soul, that I felt like helpless. Like, I know that I'm supposed to do more than this. I know that I'm supposed to do more than this. And instead, I'm being told that I'm just supposed to basically watch this thing wither away. Like, they're treating it like a thing. And so I looked into Lando's eyes like last week, and I was like, you know what? I'm supposed to fight for you. And of course, fighting doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I'm going to be able to find a cure, but fighting means like there is a softer road that you can take to the Rainbow Bridge. And I need to be tasked to do that. And so I found another veterinarian, and I went, and I got to tell you, it was such a different experience. And they were so compassionate, and they were really thoughtful about the fact that I want to know what to do. And I know that there are things to do. And they were like, there are. So they were able to prescribe like, low dose painkillers, but also higher dose if once we see that it's going that route. They were able to give him an antibiotic to clear up anything that's going on, because I think he does have a small infection and a UTI. They were able to provide me with a topical appetite stimulant. I didn't even know there was such a thing. And they were able to just give me peace of mind. So I just want to tell everybody out there, you not bugging when you feel like folks is treating you like, okay, you in, you out, I gotta go. Like, I remember the surgeon was like, you're catching me while I'm on my way out. I said, well, then you need to call me back. So I am really happy to say that I took that extra step, and I'm really fortunate that I was able to afford to go to another vet. And I just want to let you all know that if you feel that feeling, like, follow it. There's going to be other people who are going to get it. And if you're in New York, you may want to consider going down to Brooklyn to Flatbush Cats. They absolutely understand what it is to be a caretaker and to care. So that's my public seals announcement for today. PSA. All right, y'all, that's the end of the show. That's the end of the show. I did not get to say this at the beginning of the show, but I hope that you guys are going to comment, right? I hope you're going to comment after the show. I hope you're also going to subscribe. I have like 157,000 subscribers right now. That's not enough. We should be at 200,000. We should be at 200,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, you need to subscribe. Okay, I do the show for free every day. And the way that this show is going to continue to keep going is by getting the YouTube ad sales support. Now, the way that you can do that without spending any money is you can simply just let the ads play. So after you watch this, you can literally just let the show run and let the ads play out. You don't got to pay attention again, whatever. But if you're a part of the replay click, that is a way that you can support. And I want to stress how important it is to support. Because I think people think things like this just happen, or we've come into this world of like entitlement where we think like, yeah, just make some content for me. Content takes so much time. I do so much work after the show and before the show, and I love doing the show and I love doing this work, but I also know that I deserve to be supported for that. So please subscribe, watch for 20 minutes. Please replay the episode. Please drop some seals in the chat. Please add a super to support this space. And if you want some more Amanda in your life, go to patreon.com, Amanda Seals. And remember, the Harriet pins are present and available right now at AmandaLandExports.com. Okay? The Harriet pins are available and present right now at AmandaLandExports.com. So that's it, guys. Remember, no shows tomorrow and Friday, no live shows, but you will still be able to watch Things I Learned This Week on Friday, and you'll be able to check out the new segment, Bonus Question, tomorrow. All right, everyone, have a fabulous Wednesday, a hump day, and I'll catch you on the flip. Actually, this is what happens every show. I'd be like, I'll catch you on the flip. And it's like, no, you're not ready. Okay, now I'm ready.
30 seconds of stillness.
I wasn't ready. I always try to be ready and like hit y'all, and I never am ready. All right, here we go. Here's your 30 seconds of stillness. I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seals. Come on and join the Seal Squad. Views from AmandaLand. Live 10 a.m. Eastern Monday through Wednesday with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seals TV.